So these differences, advantages, features I told you. So always use get request for fetching information, and always use post request for submitting information. That is the key point you need to understand. So once you are aware of all this related to the form, now we need to design the elements inside the form elements. So what are the elements in the form? How to design them? To design form elements, so many options are present. So to design the form elements, so we have so many options. Excuse. So what are the options? What are the tags used for designing form elements? We have we have input, we have select, we have option, we have OPT group, we have data list, text area, meter, progress. All these used for the elements inside the form. One by one, we will see how we can design the elements and how we can configure. So how to define and use them, right? Generally, in the form elements, we have to first learn about text input. First, we have to learn about text input. So we need to know about text input. For text input, so we can use input type is equal to text. Text input is nothing but, generally text input means string input. It is a normal string. String is nothing but group of characters, alpha, numeric, and special characters. That is called as a string. So it is a plain normal string you can input by using text. So technically, that is input type text. So let's create here. So many options are there. We will see one by one. So let's access our application and let's design a form here. So I am just creating an ordinary form, and here we will create a data list with the data term. I will create here as username. So data definition, input type is equal to text. Okay. Now this is text input. For text input, you can see, so I am using, this is the text input. It will just give you a simple text box. In that you can type alphabets, numbers, symbols, anything is allowed inside it. That is string generally. And remember, so the data that entered inside any form element, it cannot be submitted until or unless this element is having a name. Every form element must have a name. If name is not defined, it cannot submit the value. For example, Suppose I have a button, submit button. Later I will tell you about buttons. We will discuss separately buttons. Suppose now what happened is submit button have the ability to submit form. I entered some name and click on submit, and you can see that in the URL data is not submitted. Query string is empty. That means form cannot submit the value of any element if it is not having name. So it's mandatory that it should have a name. So name I will give as username. That is the name we defined. But actually, as per the tradition and the rules of naming, generally when you give names for the controls, we have an habit of uh, following a technique called camel case. Camel case naming. We have to use this camel case in naming. Camel case means actually first starts with lowercase letters. First starts with lowercase letters. Then we'll have an uppercase letter. After that, again lowercase letters like this. This is actually called camel case. Camel case. And in projects, while naming the controls, it is very important to follow them. Actually, it is not just a tradition. In some projects, they are kept as a rule. If you don't follow the rule, they will show error warnings. So we can define them as rules also. As per the tradition, projects we use names in camel case actually. For others, we have different cases you will learn later. So generally, in form elements, actually, so we use prefix txt. So this indicates what kind of control it is. So that means, is it a text box or is it a button? For button, we have btn. For form, we have frm, like that. After that, for what purpose we are using? It is for username, like this, or txt name, btn submit, like this, frm home, like this we give the names. This is called camel case. Always it is good to follow this rule, this tradition, because in projects it is recommended and it is strictly asked. You cannot give the names your own, you have to follow certain standards. That's the reason you need to know this. Now here, so I am following the same, just I will give the name txt name, like this. Okay, fine. You can give any name, but as per the standards, we are just referring the reasonable one. So you can see now, you can see here, when I refresh and I enter some name now and click on submit, and now submit have the ability to submit that name. Txt name is Raj. So it's important that every form element must have a name. If form element is not having a name, form cannot submit that element value. On get request or post request, whenever a form element have to submit its value, then it should have a name. So in the properties, in the attributes of text, so what are the important attributes? One is name, another one ID, another one value. So name, ID, value, and class. These are very common things. Name is used for submitting the form data, and it can be used for reference also. But problem with name is, suppose I give a name txt name. The same name can be given for some other control. Another control also can have the same name. That creates a lot of confusion for handling the element dynamically. That's the reason uniquely you have to define a name for reference that you can give with ID. Name can be common for several elements, but ID cannot be common. So ID is unique. Class, it is used to define multiple reference names for a element. That is usually used in CSS, I told you already. So name, ID, class, these are common. Now value indicates what value by default you want inside the text box. That means you see, so here we are defining. Here you can see that. So we have a name, ID, class are optional, but we use them in CSS and JavaScript while referring them. Next important, in this we have a value as a property. Value indicates what value by default you want inside it. Suppose I want some John inside it. You can give some value. So whenever the page loads, by default it will have that value. By default it will have that value. If you want, you can change the value. You can change the value and you can put some other. But whenever you load the page, whenever you refresh the page, the default value will be John. It will come with that. So if you want any value by default to display inside it, so we have to use the attribute value. The attribute value. That's what actually the value is. So name, ID, class, and value. Next important, for input, you have option called placeholder. Placeholder. Actually, placeholder will be displayed if there is no value. So if there is no value, then only placeholder will come. Actually, placeholder is nothing but placeholder is used to give some tips about this element. So it shows like a watermark text. I will say that. So name in block letters like this I am giving. So placeholder is used to display. You see inside the text box that will come. Name in block letters. Actually, this is placeholder. So when I submit, this will not be submitted. This will not be submitted. When I submit, this will not be submitted. That is just a tip. You see, when I submit, it says txt name empty. So placeholder is just to show some tip. When you add some value into it, it will store that. And when I submit, you can see that it is submitting that value. It is submitting that value. So placeholder is used to just display some watermark text inside the text box. That is not going to submit it. It is just for displaying. And if you have value, suppose I am having value as John, and you can see that if you have value, placeholder will not come. Placeholder will be displayed when there is no value inside it. When there is no value inside it, right? That is technically the value and placeholder. So for text, for input, we have a lot of attributes. In the text input, so we have these attributes like name, ID, value, class, placeholder. Another attribute, so we have read only, disabled. Actually, read only will not allow to modify the value inside the text box. That means suppose already you have some value John. what we can do is, so we can modify that value and put some other value. By default, we given some value, we can change it. But if you don't want to change that value, then you can keep it as, you can keep this text box as read only. Already we learned about attributes, like there is no order for attributes. Any attribute you can write anywhere. Inside that, there is no order. It's not like first I have to write type text, then name. You can write these anywhere inside the tag, first, last, in between, anywhere. There is no order for attributes. So read only, what will happen is, you can see that when I give read only, so now the text box is showing some default value and it will not allow to change the value. I am trying to change the value. It's not changing the value. It's not changing the value, but it will submit that value. When I submit, it will submit that value. You cannot change the value. So that is read only. Actually, there is another option, disabled. Disabled also, you can see that disabled means the text box is disabled. You can see the text box is disabled. Here also you cannot change the value. Text box is disabled. You cannot change the value. You cannot change the value. Now, obviously, everyone will ask a question, then what is difference between read only and disabled? Both are not allowing to change the value. The difference is read only cannot change, but can submit, Disable cannot change, and cannot submit. That means when you keep disabled, the form will not submit its value. So when I keep disabled, you can see that I click on submit button. When I click on submit button, you can see that it's not submitting the value. It's not submitting. Disabled elements values are not submitted. The disabled element values are not submitted. It is not submitting the value. So that is the problem. That is the problem. But we use disabled many times because sometimes according to situation, some fields we should not allow them to submit. For only some situation, for another situation we want to submit. That means, for example, suppose we say that we given a registration form and we say you are resident of India, then you have to fill this extra field. You are not resident of India, then ignore it. Then we disable that field. You don't need to fill it. We will enable and disable the controls dynamically. Based on that, it can handle it. Enabling and disabling the controls dynamically, we can manage them. So that is actually difference between disable and read only. Another important attribute, we have autofocus. Autofocus is nothing but, generally what happens is, whenever the page loads, the focus will come into the control automatically. That means you see when I refresh the page, now cursor is not present inside the text box. If cursor is not present inside the text box, sometimes cursor will be somewhere in the URL. Without clicking inside this text box, you started typing, then it will type in the URL. So it will type in the URL. So here the point is, sometimes you forget to click inside it and start typing. It types somewhere. This problem regularly we face. This problem regularly we encounter actually. Now, what happens is when you define autofocus, you can see that whenever the page loads, directly cursor is inside the name text, it gets focus. Whenever the page loads, directly it will be there. Suppose there are several text boxes, and when you give autofocus, it will not work for all of them. It will work only for the first one. That means you give autofocus for all text boxes, it will not work. Only one will be there. And the first one will only get the focus. It will get it only for the first one. So that is autofocus. So generally, when you are defining, when you are configuring the focus for the text box, this is the approach it will work at. So autofocus indicates, so what should means which element should get focus, so that you can start typing from there. That is generally autofocus. Next important in the attributes, these are all text box related attributes. These are all text related attributes. So another important attributes, you have some validation attributes. Validation attributes like, so we have min length, we have max length, we have required, we have pattern. These are validation related attributes. Min length, max length, required, they verify that the value you type is according to the requirement. That means its length is matching. Minimum length 4 characters, 5 characters, like that. Maximum length how much? Is it mandatory or not? That is for required. So earlier we have to write this with the JavaScript, but now directly this HTML have these attributes. Those attributes will verify that. You see now, if I want to restrict the username, then I will just put it here. So I will put it here. So min length is equal to 4 and max length is equal to some 10. And this is, and we are using, it's not mandatory to use all of them, your wish. You can put only min length, you can leave max length. If you leave max length, then it will allow maximum any number of characters. So technically, we want to restrict, then we can give them. So you can use any one also. So initially, I am defining this. One more is we can use required. Required indicates that it cannot be empty. That means there must be a value. It cannot be empty. Without any value, you cannot submit. So you see now here, without entering the name, I click on submit, then it pops up a message. It says that please fill out this field. It pops up that message. Please fill out this field. Now, this is default validation. Okay, I am entering the name. And when I am entering the name, suppose some name. So some 3 characters I given and click on submit. Then it says that please lengthen the text to 4 characters or more. Currently, you are using only 3. because we have given min length also. So we have to satisfy the min length. Maximum, I am trying more than 10. It will not type more than 10. You can see that more than 10 characters, it is unable to type. It is unable to type more than 10 characters. So it will not allow. So it can allow only maximum 10, and you can submit if it is satisfied. If any validation is not satisfied, it will not allow to submit. So we have three options: min length, max length, and required. Pattern is a very big concept. We will learn about the pattern at the end later, because this you have to continue in JavaScript, jQuery also. JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React, anywhere this pattern concept is very important and same. And you have to learn a lot of things about the pattern that I will discuss at the end of forms concept, how the pattern works. Actually, pattern is nothing but it is to verify and restrict the format of value. Format means whether the value you entered is according to specific format or not. For that, we need to write patterns, regular expressions, we call them as. Later, you will learn. At the end of forms concept, I will discuss about that, because it is a very big concept. It will take entire session to discuss, and we will discuss detailedly in HTML only, so that we will not waste time in JavaScript and jQuery to discuss again and again about this concept. So we will discuss at the end of the forms concept detailedly, and the same you have to remember forever. So in JavaScript, jQuery, we will directly use it now. Pattern is nothing but, just roughly I will show you. Suppose I want to allow only uppercase letters. Then I can write a pattern. Pattern is written like this with meta characters and all. Later you will learn. Don't ask questions what is square brace and all. That's, I told you that we will discuss later. Just observe the point. So I given a-z and I given 4, 10. This indicates that now the name can be only uppercase letters A to Z, any character between 4 to 10. Anything else you try to type, it will not allow. So that means several validations are working now. First validation, required, fill out the field. I entered 2 characters and it says, please match the requested format. Requested format means only uppercase letters. So uppercase letters, 2 characters I am typing, still not satisfied because minimum 4 characters. Okay, minimum 4 characters, uppercase letters, and click submit. Now it is working. Anything else you type, it's not allowed. It is not matching with the requested format. So generally you see while typing the passwords, they say that one letter should be uppercase, one letter should be lowercase, at least one special character. All such validations we can manage by using patterns. But we have to learn how to write the patterns, which you are going to learn in the later stage. It's a very big concept. We will learn later how to deal with pattern. So technically, text can have all these attributes. Another important attributes, we have a list attribute. Actually, list is used for data list. List is used for data list. In order to use list, we need to use a data list. Actual list is nothing but, suppose when a user is typing something, so I will give, these are all the options we are having, just roughly I remove them. Suppose I will give here some text box. Roughly I am giving the text box like search tutorial, something like this. And here it is a text box, and here he can search for the tutorial. This is an ordinary text box, search tutorial. Now you see, when I say search tutorial, some tips are coming here inside it. Actually, this is the tip that comes from history. These are the tips that comes from history. That means from my browsing history. If I delete browsing history, then these will be gone. Now also I can delete them. Now also I can delete them. So this is from browsing history, it is coming. From the browsing history, it is coming. If you clean the history, they will be gone. I don't want like that. I want permanently some list to come. Even you clean the browsing history, they will not be deleted. You need a permanent list for suggestions. Then what we do is, under the text box, actually you can maintain anywhere. Just below the text box, we are using a data list. Data list contains options that you want to show. So you have to write options like HTML examples. Okay. Another option like HTML tutorial. And another option like JavaScript basics. Another option like JavaScript advanced, so examples. And another option like JavaScript tutorial. Like this, so many are there. So many topics are there. Now this data list contains collection of options. Now this data list will have an ID. ID because every data list can be used. Every data list can be used uniquely. So that's the reason ID is recommended for that. ID. And here I am giving the name. So that is some topics. Okay. Now our text box should use this data list. The data list ID is topics. Then we have to use here list attribute. In the list attribute, from where the list is coming, topics, just you have to refer it. No hash like that. That is only for general hyperlink references. Here you have to just use topics. That means now the text box is using a list topics, and that list comes from a data list actually. And you see now what happens is, when I click inside the text box, these will come. Even you delete the history, they will not go. They are permanent. Not only that, when you are typing inside the text box, you see, suppose I type examples, it will give you suggestions, and you can select any one from that. This is not a drop down. Don't think it is a drop down. It is just a text box. But text box have the ability to give suggestions. I said HTML. Only HTML topics will come. I said JavaScript. Only JavaScript topics will come. I said examples. So HTML, JavaScript examples will come. Based on the characters you are typing, it will display. So this is actually data list. And the data list is defined by using a data list element. Data list contains options. These options are attached. This data list is attached to the text box by using a list attribute. So text box is having a list attribute. That list will be this data list. So that is the option for text box. So list indicates which data list to use, Another option is you can define size for text box. Default size is 20. You can change the size. Size is nothing but width of text box. Suppose for this text box, I given here size. Size is equal to sub 40. Now you can see that text box size increases. So I given as 80, then it will be lengthy. This is the text box. You can change it to some 4. It is very short text box. Sometimes you ask to enter pin, enter some small characters. Then you don't need lengthy box. But remember, this is only size. It is not limiting the number of characters. Don't think that it is limiting 4 characters. You can enter more than 4 characters also. You can enter more than 4 characters. So to restrict only 4 characters, you have another attribute I told you. Min length you can use, max length you can use. This is just width of text box. You can adjust that by using size. These are all the attributes used for text. So similar attributes are used for other elements. I will tell you. So text have name, ID, value, class, placeholder, read only, disabled, autofocus, min length, max length, required, pattern, list, and size. These are used for text input. I hope everyone understood, right? Pattern we will discuss later. Other options, everyone understood this, right? Yeah. That is basically input, text input. Now, similarly, we have password input. For password input, we have input type is equal to password. Password also will have all these attributes. Only the point is for password, we don't use list. Rest of other options will work for password. What is speciality of password input is, password input is also a string masked with asterisk. String masked with asterisk. That means it will not show what is typed. So every character will be shown in asterisk only. But in the background, those characters are submitted. That is password input. Rest of attributes, everything same. For example, here I will write first one. So first one I am defining here. So username, okay. And here we give a text box. So we are defining a text box. Just data definition input type is equal to text. And the name is equal to txt name. And another is password. And password we don't want to display while typing. So we use input type password. So name and txt password, some name. And everything is same. It have ID, it have class, it have value, it have read only, it have disabled. All attributes are same, just like text input, password input also. So generally attributes also required, min length, max length, and pattern all are same. But only the point is the password. The general is allowing. But password input, when you type anything, it will mask with password characters. These days browsers will show you a symbol like this. When you click on that symbol, it can show what characters you are typing, and you can hide it. And when you submit, actually that password is submitted in the URL. That is the reason when you submit on GET request, it is not safe. Your password can be seen. So because it is appended in the URL, anybody can see that and handle it. So that is generally so password input. Rest of all attributes are same. No need to explain. Min length, max length, required, pattern, autofocus, disabled, read only, placeholder, everything same like text input. So only that point is you can mask with special character, that is password. We have number input. Number input is used to input number only. It will allow only number. Only number. Actually, only number type. Number type means later in JavaScript you will learn about data types. Number type means so many are there. Number type means actually, so we have signed integer, unsigned integer, unsigned integer, floating point, double, double, decimal, decimal, exponent, exponent, exponent. So we have exponent, we have binary, binary, we have hexa, we have octa. This all comes under number only. So it allows the number type. Actually, signed integers means signed means symbol plus 24 like that. Unsigned means without sign, plus 24 minus 24. These are signed. Unsigned means only positives. Floating point means you can have fraction. Double means lengthy fractions more than 3 characters, that is double. Decimal means very lengthy, more than 7, 8 characters, that is decimal. More than 4 characters, decimal. Exponent is like 2e3. E is an exponent. So E is also a number representation only. Also a number representation. 2e3 means 2 into 10 to the power of 3. That means it is equal to 2000 actually. So that is the reason sometimes people have a confusion. Sir, you said number, but it is allowing E. E is not a number. Because you don't know that E is not a number. Actually, E is also a number. So binary will have like so 0 B. It will have like B 1010 like that binary. Hexa, octa. So hexa will have F X like that, F, and actually it can be A to F. Later you will learn hexadecimal colors and all we will learn about. Octa will have a combination of O. O will be there for octa. So these are all comes under the number category. So these are all number type actually. So if you want to allow numbers only, then you can allow this. So suppose I am creating data term age and a data definition. You have input type number. Input type number. So name I given as txt age. And you can see that this number, this is input type number, and you can see that when I am typing anything here, suppose I am typing some D, A, B, C, it's not working. E is working. Other characters not working. Other characters not working. Because E represents an exponent value. So anything else you try to type, it's not working. And it will take only the numbers. You can see a numeric up down will come. Numeric up down will come. You can enter the number, select the number here. But it can go negative also, negative values also. It will not allow to type any characters. Except E, you cannot type any other character. So generally, this number ID, class, all are same. Number is also having same attributes. But it will not have min length and max length. Instead of min length and max length, we use min, max, step, and value. These are very commonly used. Read only disabled, everyone is same. All others are same. We don't use even list also. Why? Because it's not a number list to display sometimes, so we just use these. So you have the min, max, step, value. These are important for number, because number don't have min length, max length. Minimum how much number, maximum how much number. You see here, I am writing here. So minimum, min is equal to, so 15. Okay. Max is equal to some 30, and value is equal to 22. So default value you see 22. When I scroll down, it will be up to 15. You cannot enter anything. It will not go down. Suppose you entered manually 12 and try to submit, it will not submit. So because you given minimum 15, it should be minimum 15. Maximum 30, it will not go more than 30. But if you type more than 30, it will say that must be less than or equal to 30. So it works as a validation. You can allow only number and submit, it will submit that value. So by default, it is 22. That is the value. So we have minimum, we have maximum and value. You also have step value. Actually, when I define step, step is equal to some 5. When I give step as 5 and value is suppose 15, something like this. And you see now, this is 15 and I click up, then it will be 20, 25, 30, 35. So it will be 5 value increment. Suppose I type some 80, 16, it's okay. So you see, it says to the nearest valid value. That means now 16 is not allowed. So 17 is not allowed. 18 is not allowed. 19 is not allowed. So 20 only you can give. Because only the step values you can submit. You cannot submit any value in between. In between. So that means you can submit only these step values. Between 15 to 30. You can write anything. That means you can say minimum, you can write like 1000. And maximum, so you can write like, so 20,000, like this. And you see now step is this and value is 1000. You can start from anything. You see 1000 and 555 numbers will be increasing there. Only 555, 55, 100, 100, 20, 20. It will not allow other values now. You have to submit only those step values. So if you don't define step, then you can submit anything between 1000 to 20,000. Otherwise, you have to just step values. That is minimum, maximum, value, and step. So when you are using number input, you have to define. It can be any fractional. Suppose I can give 0.0 and maximum I give 1.0, 1.0. Like this, I given a fraction. Step and values I am not defining here. So you can see now in this, now when I use it, so it is not showing any other values. It is showing 0 and 1. But inside that, actually, suppose the fraction is like, suppose 0.2, I given 0.2, that is the minimum. Then here, when I use it, 0.2, and it will not allow any others. That means it will not allow any others. So 0.2, suppose I said 10.5, 05, like this I given. So the fractions when you are configuring, you can see now it allows like this. And up to, so 9.2 is the value. This will not change. This will not change. Only the initial value will be changing. That means it will say 0.2, 1.2, 3.2, 4.2. Actually, here we can give some 50, like this I defined. And it will display the value 55, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, like this. So, but it will not display according to complete your requirements. That's the reason we have to depend on CSS and JavaScript in later stage to handle these kind of values. But it will allow up to certain numeric types, and these additional spaces of 0 will not be allowed. These we need to define with JavaScript and CSS, display them and use them. But this is completely for number. For number input, you can use this. Only for numbers. Similarly, for number, you have another option, range input. Range input is also used for number only. But actually, range input will have a slider. That means it is also same. Minimum is equal to 1, maximum is equal to 100. So I given like this, and some type I changed this to range. We have a range. Now range, you can see that. So it will display like this. A slider will come. And by default value I want 1. Then the slider handle will start from 1. You can move this slider, but value is not shown here. Value is not shown here. It is not displayed here. Value will be submitted. When I click submit, the value is submitted. But value is not shown here. Remember, these controls are browser dependent. So some browsers cannot recognize them. They cannot use them. So some browsers can show them. So old version browsers cannot use these options. That is the reason, as a developer, generally we give only the attributes which are supported across browsers, because sometimes you see now, suppose I have age, it is input type range. Suppose I am opening an Internet Explorer, open this in Internet Explorer. I have Internet Explorer browser. The same form I am opening in Internet Explorer. You see, in Internet Explorer, username, password working fine. But here you can observe that. So the slider can show the value. But in our Edge, it is not showing the value. It's okay. It looks good. It is showing the value. But when I change it to number, input type number, you can see that. So input type number, I changed it there. And you can see numeric up down is not coming. Number up down control is not coming. But it will allow to enter only number. If I type some text, it is not submitting. If I type some text, it's not allowing. Only number is allowed. So number validations are working fine. Validations are working fine, but in a different way. This depends on browser. That is the reason. So HTML have browser compatibility issues. In every browser, it cannot work in the same way. That's the reason when we are using options, we will use according to the browser compatibilities. We don't use anything additionally which is not supported across all browsers. We will use only the options that are supported across browsers. And others we implement by using JavaScript and jQuery, we configure them. So initially, so this is the number input and range input. So number input is defined by using input type is equal to number. Range input is defined by using input type is equal to range. Now similarly, you have a date input. We have date input. Date input is used to input the dates. For example, here I will remove all this. I will put a data term. So date of birth, something. Date of birth, journey date, something. So okay.
Recording in
Here I
progress.
want date and input type is equal to date. For date, we have some options I will tell you. For date, you can use input type as date, input type as month, input type as week. Date, month, week. We have actually date time. We have like date time local. Actually, some options in the advanced HTML are removed. They are not recommended anymore. So, but we have date, we have month, we have week. We have date time local. Actually, date time is no longer recommended. So generally, I said input type date. When I say input type date, you can see a date picker will come. You can select any date and it will be stored. We have option called date time local. Date time local, it will give you both date and time. You can select the date and you can select the time. You can choose the both date and time. It will get the date and time. Actually, earlier we are having date time, but it's not recommended anymore. So date time is not there. It will show in the list, but don't use it. Why? Because it's not valid anymore. So we have date and we have date time local. Another option we have like month. Month allows to pick the month. So it will allow to pick the month. So you have option like earlier we have year, input type year, but now we don't have this year. So we have only month and we have week. We can use week. It is used to select an entire week from the year. You can select entire week number 25 in 2021. Week number 25 is nothing but from June 21 to 27. That is week number 25. You can select week, we can select date, we can select month, you can select options. So now another is we have a limit. We can define the limit. So you have date. So it is showing the date. I don't want to allow the date. So after July 18th, that means from today, that means June 9 to July 18 only it should allow. Other dates not allowed. You can give the same option. We can give minimum date. Minimum date. Here remember, date must be entered in year, month, day format. Many times people ask, can I change the format? You cannot change the format. It is a standard format for entering the dates. Display format you can change, not input format. How you show date you can change, not how you input the date. Input date is standard format. You cannot change. It must be year 2021, month. So that is 06 and day is so 09. That is from today. And maximum you can define 2021. So and 07, that is next month 18. So I will save this now. You can see that minimum maximum dates when you define here. When I click here, you can see that previous dates are not selectable. Suppose I selected here. So June, January, February months are not selected. Only July, June are selected. In June also from 9th, everything. Next month up to 18 only. Others are not selectable. You cannot select a range of dates. Only one date you can select. That means you cannot select from 9th to 11th. But generally you will see some websites selecting range of dates. That is a different calendar, not HTML calendar. With jQuery, JavaScript, they can design the calendars. We can use those calendars. But HTML will not allow to select multiple dates, range of dates. But so we have attribute, but that attribute is not suitable for every browser. We have an attribute like multiple. When you give the attribute like multiple, actually multiple allows you to select multiple dates. But generally, you cannot use these multiple dates here directly. You cannot use multiple dates. That means range will not be supported. So that is the reason. So we use additional calendars. So we don't use this option like JavaScript, jQuery calendars we use to define them. So date allows you to select the date and you can restrict the date with minimum and maximum. Any specific date you can configure. So that is for handling the dates, If you want anything else, then you can do that by using third party like jQuery, JavaScript date controls. By using them, you can manage. This is basically input dates, how we can manage. So we have seen, so input text, input password, input number, input range, input date. Now some more options are there. Input radio buttons, check boxes, and drop downs, list boxes, URLs, emails, that we will see in our next session. Tomorrow we will continue, okay? In tomorrow, we will discuss about all other controls and we can finish working with the forms concept. Okay, tomorrow we will see that. Bye.